Howdy, Thunderbirds. Today's story is The Day Dirk Yeller Came to Town by Mary Casanova with pictures by Ard Hoyt. And this one has a little bit of a Western theme to it. As you're reading the story along with me here, I want you to think about why Dirk Yeller misbehaves and how he could have maybe solved his problems sooner if he'd have understood those problems a little better from the beginning. We'll talk about that at the end. The Day Dirk Yeller Came to Town. The day Dirk Yeller came to town, the wind curled its lip, the cattle quit lowing, and tumbleweeds stopped tumbling along. Townsfolk whispered, "He starts stampedes. He holds up trains. He's trouble." But I reckon Dirk Yeller had come at a good time, 'cause I'd just hit a home run through a window. Pa always said, "Sam, you're a world of trouble and curious as a tomcat." So when Dirk Yeller tromped into the post office, I dropped my broom to follow. "I'm a-looking for something," the outlaw growled, "to take away my cat scratch fever." His fingers were a-itching and a-twitching. The postmaster backed away, but I wasn't worried. Sometimes I was fidgety too. The postmaster stammered, "To try some calming elixir from the general store." At the general store, merchandise went a-flying. "I'm a-looking for something," Dirk Yeller said, "to keep a coyote from baying at the moon." Mrs. Peterson drew her children close. "Have mercy." But I wasn't scared. Sometimes I felt a little wild too. Why, just yesterday I dropped a toad down the back of Emma Peterson's dress. Mrs. Peterson trembled. "Try those live traps over at the trading post." I skedaddled too. At the trading post, rakes and shovels clattered. "I'm fixin' to find something," said Dirk, "to keep jumpin' beans from jumping." Like Dirk Yeller, sometimes I was jumpy too. Shorty wiped his brow. "I know nothing about jumping beans, but maybe you'd like some new boots." Dirk Yeller shook his head. "Well, go try the saloon." At the jailhouse, Dirk Yeller warned, "I'm itching for something, and I won't stop till I find what I'm looking for." "We're peace-loving folk," said the sheriff, "and I'm serving you notice. Ride your horse out of town before sundown." Dirk Yeller gulped the sheriff's coffee, then left with a slam. The sheriff spotted me. "Sam?" I tipped my hat and scrammed. Down the boardwalk, Dirk Yeller stomped. Through the dust and dung, Dirk Yeller clomped. And in the middle of the street, he stopped. I suddenly remembered what always helped me. I gulped down my jitters and stepped into the outlaw's shadow. Dirk Yeller's eyes drilled into my backbone, but I held my ground and stood tall like a world of trouble. "Dirk Yeller," I said, "if I can show you how to stop your itching and twitching and your jumping and rattling, will you promise to leave our town in peace?" The outlaw gave a snort, which I took to mean yes. "Then follow me." To my relief, glory be, Dirk Yeller tromped right after me. Inside the new building, he was itching like a dog scratching fleas. His eyes were coiled for trouble. But Miss Jenny didn't seem scared. Sweet as pecan pie, she asked, "May I help you?" "I'm looking for something," Dirk Yeller grumbled, "to take away my cat scratch fever, to keep coyotes from baying at the moon, to keep jumping beans from jumping, to keep rattlesnakes from..." "Come with me." Then she led the way to a tall stack of books. "This one?" she asked. "Or perhaps this?" Dirk Yeller opened a book and started to mouth the words. I could tell he wasn't a real strong reader. When he stumbled on a hard word, his face turned red as Ma's blue ribbon tomatoes. So I whispered, "Here, Mr. Yeller, let me help." Together, we sounded out word after word, and soon Dirk Yeller was turning one page, then another. And the more the outlaw read, the less he itched and twitched. The more he read, the less he jumped and jittered. Sure as shooting, Dirk Yeller was sitting still. Before long, the sun sank low. The sheriff rattled handcuffs in warning, and then Miss Jenny called out, "Closing time." The outlaw glared. "I'll be back." The townsfolk froze, and I froze too. What if I'd been wrong? "I'll be back," Dirk Yeller said, "to check out more books." The people cheered, and then Dirk winked, "and to see Miss Jenny." Saddlebags full, Dirk Yeller rode off into the sunset. The wind blew a sigh of relief, the cattle started lowing, and tumbleweeds went back to tumbling along. And ever since, the library has become the busiest place in town, especially for folks with curious, restless minds, like Dirk Yeller and me. And look what happened with Dirk and Miss Jenny. So Dirk had a problem with his behavior in this story, and I think if you thought about it a lot, you might realize that a lot of it had to do with the fact that he just needed some help. So as a discussion question, if you and your family would like to talk about it, maybe you could talk about a time that one of you didn't act necessarily in the best way, and you could have acted a little better, and the reason that you acted that way was that you just needed some help and you didn't know how to ask for it. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this story, and I hope you get a good discussion about it, and I'll be in touch with you guys again soon.